Okay, this is a 2002 Saturn Vue. It's got a 3.0 liter v6, and I'm gonna put a thermostat in it with the gasket. I gotta pull the intake, and while you got the intake off, you better go ahead and change the spark plugs and the valve cover gaskets if you see any leaks. First thing you do is you got a plug here. You unplug this, and I've got it unplugged. It's down there. You've got two bolts, one here on the plastic plenum. It's the air intake cover basically, and you got one over here. You take those two out and you unclip your clips here. There's one and there's two back here in the back right there. Once you do that, you pull your cover off and you set it to the side. Alright, then you pull your air filter out. You just grab it and pull it. Then you've got a bolt here. You unscrew this bolt, you pull this snaps out. It's a little tight. You just pull it out, and that holds your air filter. You set that to the side, and next thing you've got, this is the bracket for the air filter cover, the top of the engine. You pull that bolt out there. It's a nut, not a bolt. And then you got a nut on this side. You pull that off after you get the bolts out. Set it to the side, and you put your bolts in here if you want to kind of keep up with them. Then you pop this cover off. It just unsnaps. You just take a screwdriver real gently under the, slide it down until you feel it hit something, and then pop it up. And it's just two little teeth on each side. And you lay that to the side. Next thing I'm going to do is pull out these 2, 4, 5 bolts. There's another one in the front. I'll show you. The next thing is going to be the air conditioning line. You have to take that loose because the intake won't tilt upward in order for you to, get underneath it to the thermostat. The thermostat is underneath the intake, down inside the engine. And as well as the valve covers, you might as well go ahead and replace them, because in order to do it, you have to take this off. They're only like 40 bucks. Also, I'm doing the spark plugs, which are underneath here. So might as well pull those out. The cost for NGKs. I've got the gasket set. This is the thermostat. Got it from O'Reilly Auto Parts. It comes already on the housing. It was 30 bucks, 27 something approximately, 30 bucks. We got the intake manifold gasket kit, Felpros. I've got the valve cover gaskets, Felpros. The NGK spark plugs, they're iridiums. You're going to need a star socket set. Most likely it's just going to be the T30, which would be about here. The gasket sealant, and you need some anti-seize for the spark plugs so they don't freeze up inside the aluminum head. This stuff just coats the spark plug threads. That way you don't have to worry about it sticking the next time you ever have to do it and you break a spark plug off inside the head. Alright, pull these bolts out, and you need a magnet to go down in the holes and pull the bolts out. The bolts are, I don't know, I'd say 1.5 inches long. They are the T30 bit. I can zoom in. Then you have to pull out these bolts. And these are for the throttle body. There's 3 bolts. And we've got 1, 2, and 3. They're on the other side of this throttle body. If I can kind of get it up there for you. You see the 2 holes on top and 1 in the middle underneath. It's between the 2 hoses. Pull those out. Kind of pull that over here out the way. Your wiring harness is hooked to a 10mm nut right here, and a bolt, and you unscrew that and push your wiring harness out of the way. your plug, it comes loose from the throttle body. That's your sensor. You'll see it as soon as you start pulling this apart. It's right here on the end of this. Anyway, you get that out of the way. You move your wiring harnesses over. You also have to remove the air conditioning line. Take the nut off. And the AC line will be under pressure. This one had no pressure on it. All the freon had leaked out. So it just lifts off and move it to the side, kind of gently. I wanted to give you one more bolt that needs to come out. Is right here to take the intake plenum off. Pull that out and the intake should come right off. Alright, this one bolt is right here. Take that out and the intake should come right off after you get the 5 up top. I took the top plenum off because I wanted to look inside of here. You don't have to. You can just pull the intake off after you pull that one bolt. And then these 5. I've got the intake up where you can see down below. Underside of the intake, after I pulled that one bolt out, it's kind of dirty and grimy, and it looks like someone's been in here before and they actually used silicone instead of replacing the gaskets. I'm going to use silicone, but I'm actually going to replace the gaskets too. It's kind of tight to lift up the plenum once you get it. Anyway, I just raised it up just enough till I could get it to kind of sit right here on this rubber, so I can get down below. And as you can see down below here is our thermostat down underneath the lower intake. So I've got to remove the lower intake to get down here to this thermostat housing. Okay, I got a little bit better light. Got the intake up now. Next thing I need to do is remove the lower intake, which you have to remove these bolts here, and here, you know, all of the bolts that you see holding it down. Okay, I've got all the bolts out except for one. I'm taking it loose now. These take a Torx socket, and the number socket is an E12. You have to buy them at your local parts store. This one here was a little tough because someone had stripped it, and I had to kind of improvise. I put my socket on there and I tapped it down with the hammer, and the burrs that were on the side of the bolt, I guess it kind of cuts them down a little bit, that way the socket will fit right on there. Get the bolt out. There's the head of it. It's not that bad. It's just you have to watch. Some people, they decide to tear stuff up more than take care of it when they're pulling it apart. Alright, all the bolts are out. It should be 12. Alright, the next thing we got to do is make sure we drain the water, so when you pull this intake off, you don't have no water like running all down in there. And we've got to get down to that thermostat housing. You see the one bolt connecting it. There's another one on the other side underneath the intake. This housing goes all the way down. Anyway, it's connected to a pipe, and that pipe runs through here, and it comes out on the other side, and the radiator hose hooks to it. Okay, now I've removed the radiator hose. I haven't removed it all the way. I took the clamp loose, grabbed it with some pliers, pulled it back. You have to squeeze it on each side, for those of you that don't know. And I've got a bowl, actually a pot underneath here to catch my antifreeze. Once you remove that hose, she's going to start leaking out some. And now it's loose. And not much water came out, but you want something underneath the car to catch the water, antifreeze, in case you want to lay under there for some reason. This is an engine hook mount from the factory. They put a hook in there to pick up the engine. Down there below that, if you stick your hand down there, your finger, you can actually feel another Torx bolt, a E20, that connects right underneath this. It's kind of hard to see, but I've got it on there and I'm loosening it up. You know, it makes it loose and slides out. You got your thermostat housing you're trying to remove, and down here there's a pipe that hooks to that. Lighting isn't that great. See the pipe, it runs through and it comes out over here on the other side. It's right here. Anyway, if you take that bolt loose, the pipe goes into the thermostat housing and it comes out on this side. To get it out, excuse me, is to go right here between the housing and the tube with a screwdriver and pull. And when you pull, you got to put some force on it. You pull enough, it's going to pop out. And you can reach in here and you can grab it, twist it, and it slides right out. Okay, I just removed all the bolts. I've let the water out of the radiator over here. And the next thing you want to do is you want to try to get in somewhere in between here so you can pry that thing up. The lower intake plenum is real tight, and you got to get something in there. After you get the 12 bolts out, this piece will come up. It's just the silicone that the last person had in there. It made it a little difficult, but once you get it, you kind of wiggle it out, twist it, and come up with it. And you see the gaskets underneath are kind of hanging a little bit. Just don't worry about them. You're going to put new gaskets on there anyway. So you get that off, lay it to the side over here, and now you can see down in there. And if you can look, you can see the thermostat down here. So I've got that out. Now all I got to do is cure it and lay it over here so I can clean it before I put it back on. And the thermostat housing now, it's all I have to do is take these two bolts out. And okay, I've got the two bolts out there and there. Twist it a little bit, kind of tilt it in order to get the gaskets all clean, the gasket surfaces. And I've got the thermostat out and ready to go back in with the new. You make sure your gasket surfaces are clean. That way you don't have no air leak. Next thing I want to show you is the housing for the radiator hose that slides into the thermostat housing. It's O-rings. Well, I put a little bit of sealer on it. That way we make sure we don't have any leaks. You want to do that, and same way with the thermostat housing, the new housing. It had an O-ring on it, but I just like to use a little bit of sealer to make sure it's not going to leak when I get everything buttoned up. You don't want it to come back and get you in the buttocks. I've got the radiator hose back on. I ran the tube through the head and hooked it into there. The little silicone I put around the end of the tube, the O-rings, it slid in nicely, excuse me. And I got the thermostat bolted down tight. All the gasket surfaces are clean and ready to go back together. I got the bracket. This is a tough one. Putting that bracket back on and lining up the dipstick, the tube, and the engine hook mount. All three of those, there's one bolt that holds all three of them. Finally got it together, and now I'm going to start on the intake. Okay, I've got the lower intake back mounted on there now. We're getting ready to do the valve cover gasket. I just want to let you know, pop these bolts out, unplug this plug. This is the coil pack. Underneath here is your spark plugs. I'm going to pull that off first, and then pull the valve cover off. Got the bolts out of the valve cover and the coil pack. And I removed this coil pack and just kind of pry it up, get it out, and look for oil. And there's oil on that boot there. It's soaked in oil, meaning she's got an oil leak around the spark plug hole in the valve cover. So in order to fix that, I gotta clean the valve. I gotta clean the holes out where they're, oh yeah, that one's full of oil. See, it shouldn't be oil in it. You should be able to see the spark plug. That spark plug hole is full of oil. And same goes for this one. There's a seal in between the valve cover that I hope is what the problem is. I've never seen this much oil. But yeah, the valve cover's been leaking down into the spark plug hole, I believe it is. So we'll see. Here you can see what I was doing was I took my handy dandy vacuum cleaner and I sucked out all the oil that was down in the spark plug holes. It's the best way to do it. That way you don't have oil all over your pistons. Now I can remove the spark plugs and the valve cover. The valve cover gasket I've got on the new valve cover is cleaned. Be sure you put these rubber O-rings here. It's 8 of them on each valve cover. Because if you don't, they're dried up and cracked and you'll have an oil leak down into the spark plug holes. So I'm going to put the valve cover back on, and then I'm going to pull the spark plugs out. Okay, I'm going to put anti-seize on the spark plugs. Got the valve cover on, the coil pack in, the new spark plugs. So this side is done. Now we got to do the other side, this back. Just remove the back coil packs, and if you notice, there's oil the same way as was in the front. This one doesn't look as bad, but you can see the oil. Oh, there we go, on each side of the spark plug hole. This one has a lot of oil, and let's see, this one looks about the same, full of oil. So we've got to replace that valve cover gasket, the O-rings, clean the boots back, and make sure everything's dry of oil and clean, and put the new gasket on and put that together. I've got the spark plugs. This will be the last one in the back. I've changed the valve cover gasket already, and I'm buttoning it up. Just wanted to shoot a last picture of everything. I guess you guys got the idea. You put it back together the same way you took it apart. And as soon as I get this spark plug in and tighten the coil pack on, then I start setting the plenum back down. The intake bolted back down. If you remember, it was these 5, 2, 4, 5, and then the one here, and it was one here that I really didn't need to take off, but I put it back. You bring your wiring harness back up, put your 10mm bolt back in, which is right here. Get that tight. Your wiring and everything, you remember where it goes back to the throttle body. And I'm about ready to put the upper plenum back on. I needed to check the gasket to see if it was good, and it was good, so I just resealed it, and I'm going to put it back. Okay, I got the intake back bolted down, the plenum cover back on, the black plastic piece that goes on there. I got the throttle body back together. Put my 3 bolts in there, and I got my wiring all back straight and tightened up, and that's it. The next thing is the air box, which hooks here and comes around into there, and it mounts on top with the brackets. If you remember from the beginning of the video, that bracket goes right here, and That's it.